We have reaction to Donald Trump's upset victory in the presidential race.
A smoky haze has been hanging over the campus. You will hear how some students with breathing problems are coping with it.
And wrestling outdoors at Chamberlain Field.
Welcome to this weekend's edition of Mocs News. I'm Olivia Brown.
And I'm Kiana Crutcher. Your news starts now. The upset victory of Donald Trump in the presidential election has people talking on campus and around the world.
Trump beat Hillary Clinton in the Electoral College count despite more people voting for Clinton overall in the popular vote nationwide. We wanted to find out what people thought on campus. Our Alex McKay.
It was a long night for many students as they gazed at their television screens. Dorothy Call and the Women's Center both hosted viewing parties until midnight. Hillary supporters gave their raw emotional responses after seeing the results.
I just can't separate him and his policies from the way that he's talked about specific groups of people, whether it's Muslims or women or disabled people. Not only that, but his policies are very much tied to those issues. So I could never support Trump as a candidate. I think this election is a lot more polarized than I've ever seen before. I feel like, especially Trump supporters, I've seen a side of some people that I've never necessarily seen before this election.
When I found out that he won, it wasn't like surprising or anything. That's just how the country is feeling right now. So
I cried for 3 hours because I am bisexual and I'm in a relationship with a woman. And I genuinely love her so much, and I feel that I am not going to be able to get married to the person I love, and I have never felt so unsafe being who I was, being in a relationship, and it's just incredibly disheartening because it's just not fair. I have every right to love who I want to love.
It's very upsetting to see educated students on my campus, on social media, who are on a regular basis drilled to think critically, to check into sources and biases, yet when it comes to this election, they're so disillusioned that they can't look into news medias, whether it's something as simple as Vice, Now This, or something like CNN and Fox that we know is biased, but students are still feeding and manipulating the media that they see and not criticizing it and critically thinking about it, and that's just very upsetting and disheartening.
America hates women, hates people of color, hates the LGBTQ community, hates trans people, any minority group.
He's not my president.
Many Trump supporters could not be reached out for comment or refused to speak on camera.
Police arrested 26 people in Portland, Oregon as a protest Thursday night boiled over into what authorities called a riot. The protest started as a rally against President-elect Donald Trump. Police arrested people who reportedly vandalized cars and spray-painted anti-Trump messages. It's the latest protest in series held in San Francisco, Denver, Chicago, and New York City, with people declaring Trump is not their president.
UTC and Chattanooga police are investigating a reported robbery that occurred in Lot 47 near the doctor's building. The suspect fled away from campus toward ML King Boulevard in a brown Chevrolet. The university urges you to report any suspicious activity on or around campus immediately. Get to a safe place and call for help if you ever feel unsafe. The UTC Police Department is also available 24 hours per day at 423-425-4357 or 911.
Police are also investigating a delayed report of a burglary. The theft happened between Friday and Sunday last week at the UCF apartments. The suspect entered the unlocked apartment and took an Xbox game console from the common area. Police have no suspect. Information at this time.
A thick haze hung over the UTC campus this week.
It's the result of wildfires in our area. Our Allie Davenport tells us more about the impact on campus.
Chattanooga residents woke up to a smoky haze Monday morning due to forest fires in the Chattanooga area. Saturday, a brush fire that started on Signal Mountain grew to 150 acres by Monday morning. The fires called for a heavy team of wildland fighters to help control the flames. 20 firefighters from the Tennessee Forestry Division and Tennessee State Parks and 10 wildland fighters from nearby states were in the woods on Signal Mountain Monday morning to build fire breaks. UTC still held regular classes regardless of the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Air Pollution Bureau advising residents to stay indoors until the haze cleared. Here's what Junior Eden Murray had to say about the smoke.
And you just step out and it's like walking in a cloud of smoke. It was hard to breathe. I mean, you could just felt like you're in the middle of a bonfire.
We also spoke to the Director of Student Health Services, Luann Weber, who said that students who suffer from asthma will have twice as hard of a time breathing through the smoke. Sophomore Allie Ford, who suffers from exercise-induced asthma, shares her experience with the smoke on campus.
And at McClellan Gym, the smoke was just sitting inside, literally inside the gym. So that made it kind of difficult to work out. I have asthma, exercise-induced, so when I exercise in a smoky room, it makes it more difficult.
The haze throughout the city was caused by a temperature inversion that prevented the smoke from dissipating. The smoke cleared later in the afternoon as the inversion lifted and firefighters gained control of the fire on Signal Mountain. I'm Allie Davenport with Mocs News.
What would help the situation is some rain.
Well, our Emily Willis will tell us if we get some relief this week.
Thanks, Olivia. We have some good news. We have a chance of rain for Tuesday. Throughout the week, the highs will be in the upper 60s with lows in the upper 40s. Be careful with these dry conditions. FEMA is calling in firefights to help battle the wildfires in our area.
Ever consider going beyond what you think you can do? Our Rachel Garcia has the story.
The Abroad 101 session was held at Hooper Hall 203 this past week, which was hosted by UTC International Office. They had a guest speaker talk about study abroad classes offered through the ISA program.
I joined UTC last year. One thing I realized was nobody knew what this office has been doing for the students. So this semester we decided to do twice a week study abroad information session. And students can come and ask three things. One is the options we provide for study abroad, this including destinations, financial aid, and credit transfer system.
Financial options and scholarship opportunities were also discussed for the students who think they can't afford to participate. Students left the meeting feeling well-informed and excited for what study abroad has to offer.
Expecting to get just kind of a general knowledge of what their program entails and how to get involved with it and how to look up more programs that involve my major. And I definitely think that they covered all that information, and I think I'm definitely a lot more likely to go and try to pursue this after this meeting.
It is important to note, I think, that this isn't the only way you can do study abroad through UTC. It's like a specific company. So I don't know if I'll go through this company, but I definitely still want to pursue study abroad. And they kind of gave me good questions to go ahead and start thinking about on my own, whether I decide to do it through them or not.
Christina Maximos discussed other international events for the upcoming week.
Next week, we have our International Education Week. That is UTC's first International Education Week. So we're planning on making it a huge celebration for our students. So Tuesday from 3:30 to about 5, we have Global Tea Time in the Multicultural Center. On Wednesday, we have speech contest for our international students to express themselves, and that will be 3:30 in the Multicultural Center as well. And then Thursday we have open mic night. We're partnering with CAB to do our international open mic night, have our international students participate and perform. And then our final event will be World Cuisine, where we will have international food as well as international faculty kind of discussing their culture shock experiences, and then it'll go into a more in-depth dialogue.
Sounds like it's going to be a fun week. To find out the complete schedule, visit the Study Abroad and International Exchange programs at utc.edu. Michael Snowden is here with sports, and we start with wrestling. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiana. Wrestling season is finally back. Here's Jonathan Najjar to tell you how they started their season.
A former UTC wrestler by the name of Javier Maldonado attended the match last weekend. This time, however, he was being referred to as coach by the opposing team's bench. Despite the fact that the number 23 ranked Mocs were heavy favorites in this match, Maldonado had his team ready to play his alma mater. His Southeastern Fire came out and took an early lead, which they held until the midpoint of the match. Fortunately for the Mocs, this is where our depth took over. Justin Lampe took the mat as the Mocs' sixth wrestler. Lampe fought hard for well over 5 minutes and eventually was able to pin his opponent and earn the Mocs 6 points by fall. Then the remaining 4 wrestlers took that momentum and made the crowd forget that Southeastern ever held the lead. This all started when Sean Mapes followed Lampe with a ridiculous 32-second pin. Most of the fans hardly knew the match had started when the ref called his victory. The rest of the roster, not wanting to be left out, slaughtered their opponents, 2 of which also won by sub-minute falls. In fact, the only wrestler that was unable to pin his opponent still dominated the competition with an 18-2 technical fall. Jared Johnson, however, was the player that all the fans came to watch. The reason they came to watch Johnson is because he's the number 12 ranked wrestler in D1 this year. The man showed up for the crowd. Johnson slammed his opponent to the mat and quickly pinned him with little to no trouble, taking only 57 seconds. The Mocs will be traveling to Blacksburg this Sunday to take on the number 7 ranked Virginia Tech Hokies in arguably their most important game all season.
After 9 weeks and 8 wins, the Mocs' much-needed bye week finally came. The well-rested Mocs now close their conference schedule with Wofford at home this Saturday. The Terriers are 6-3. Their only 2 conference losses have been to Samford and to Citadel in overtime. Keep in mind that Citadel also beat UTC. The Mocs will welcome back leading rusher Derek Crane, who missed the last 2 games injured. Crane will play a key role as Wofford gives up less than 70 yards rushing a game, good for second and best in the nation. A win could secure the Mocs a postseason bid. The calendar has finally hit November, which means Mocs basketball is finally back. The Mocs had a fantastic season last year with a school record 29 regular season wins and a trip to the Big Dance. The Mocs open their season tonight in Knoxville against the UT Vols. The Vols are predicted to be the bottom dwellers in the SEC this year, but they are still a 4-point favorite against the Mocs. Coach McCall and the veteran Mocs will be ready to play and might just turn some heads with a big win to start the season.
UTC had its annual bonfire, but without the fire. UTC officials made the decision because of the drought, dry conditions, and wildfires already in our area. But students still enjoyed free food, free t-shirts, music, and fun. Plus, they still got fired up for the Mocs spirit. The marching Mocs, the cheerleaders, Sugar Mocs, and Scrappy led the crowd in cheering for our Mocs athletes at the first ever Bon No Fire pep rally Wednesday.
That does it for this edition of Mocs News. Thank you for joining us. Check out our videos uploaded throughout the week to YouTube, and don't forget to subscribe.
We air on the UTC TV channel and Housing Channel 2.1, so tune in and have a great weekend from all of us here at Mocs News. We leave you with the start of a new Veterans Day tradition here on campus called the TAPS Project.
But we were seeing a spectrum, adults, middle school, high school, college level, which was neat to see the interest from all age groups. And, the event was starting to travel around campus that it was happening, and we heard people getting excited about it. I got some emails from some colleagues saying, thank you for doing this, what a neat idea. I used to play trumpet X number of years ago, and then today when everybody got here, again, it was just neat to see the spread of the ages and different walks of life and different types of trumpet players just wanting to come out either, with a veterans connection or, just for a trumpet event.
When I first heard the music, it was a long way away, so it was echoing off buildings and around the streets, and everyone stopped and started to listen. They didn't really know what was going on, so it was fun to see it happen. And then when I played, myself, it was surreal. The idea that we can get this many people together with one goal, celebrate our veterans.
I think that in light of everything that's been going on in the country, that we don't really stop enough to remember the people that have really sacrificed a lot for us. And I think that's the most important thing we can do today, is just to honor them.
it actually was really emotional. You know, I'm there and you're kind of anxious and waiting and how's it going to be, and then I started in the distance hearing the trumpets, and the way it was sort of cascading down the campus towards me, it was really emotional. And I thought, you know, well, soon enough it's going to be at me. There's the timing of it, you know, and everybody overlapping is going to go pretty quick. So I thought it went great. I thought it was a really neat effect.